Hey guys, what's up? We're here with the KTM 1390 Super Adventure R to show you some of our favorite things about this new dash system. KTM came out with an all-new dash system for all their leading-edge street and adventure motorcycles, and we want to give you a deep dive into all the system's functionality and how to manipulate it for your ride. You've heard us talk about this new system on our reviews for 1390 class bikes and the 990 class bikes. So let's get into it. I want to show you all the buttons to push, what they do, and how you can utilize it to make your next ride better on your new KTM. All right, first up, we're going to dig into the navigation system, show you how to set it up, download base maps from Mapbox, follow along your navigation route for your next cool ride. Okay, a couple quick tips before you download your regional maps for whatever navigation you need to do on the bike is a lot of the times you're going to be downloading with the hotspot on your phone. And a couple tips there is you're going to have maximized compatibility checked on your phone hotspot or else it will not connect. The other thing is if you're connecting to a Wi-Fi or hotspot system that does not have a password protection, it will not connect as well. So you need to make sure you're password protected. And if you're on your phone, maximize compatibility is checked. First step in setting up your navigation is to connect to the Wi-Fi so you can download your base maps. The steps are pretty simple. You can either use the touch screen or you can use the control buttons on the side. I'm backing up the control buttons on the side right now. Very simple, you hit the menu. You're gonna go down to settings. You're gonna go to connectivity. You're gonna hit Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. You're gonna hit Wi-Fi. And then you're going to add a network. We're already connected here in the shop, but you're going to add a network to look for available Wi-Fi networks in range the bike's going to pick up. You're going to connect to one of them, enter the password, make sure it's all connected, and then you'll be set up just like we are here. So we're already connected. That's the first step. All right, next step is to set up a base map for whatever region or country you're riding in and you're going to use for navigation. This uses a Mapbox base map system, and you simply just download the region, state, country, whatever you want to do. Again, setup's pretty simple. Hit your menu button, get into map navigation. You're going to go to settings. You're going to go to offline maps. That's what they're called. You're going to click the offline map setting. And then if you have stuff downloaded already on your system, it's going to show you where they are. Like right now we have Mexico and California on here. It shows you the size of those map data files and also gives you sort of an inventory of how much more space you have on the internal memory of the navigation unit. It's 22 gigabytes of total data on here, and as you can see we have 3.34 already sent in. So if you want a new region, you hit the add new region. And then this cool little map pops up, and there's a couple different ways you can go. The easiest way is to just scroll around and say we wanted to add Nevada to that. We would click on Nevada, or you could do the whole entire United States. So you can zoom out as far as you want on this, the whole world. If you're gonna go down to South America, say you're gonna hit Central America and you're gonna go to Honduras, it's 2.5 gigabytes. You literally just hit it, download it, and then everything that the map system contains in that data is already there. Hotels, coffee shops, restaurants, all the road names, everything like that is internally already in there. And it'll automatically navigate you through those countries or regions as you set a destination. Now that we have the maps downloaded, we've connected to Wi-Fi to get all the downloaded base map stuff, we're going to actually go to a destination, use the bike's navigation system to get us there. There's two ways you can get to a destination on here. The first one's probably what you're most familiar with. We'll go into menu, map navigation. We're going to pick a new destination for our ride. And let's say we want to go to Joshua Tree National Park. We can just search it up. Okay, we typed in Joshua Tree National Park and I just saw a Jeep Trailhead into Joshua Tree Park popped up, and I'm on a 1390 Super Adventure R, and that sounds awesome. So maybe I'll check out what that is. Even though I just wanted to get to Joshua Tree and get a sandwich, I'm gonna look at this and be like, oh, this looks pretty awesome. Let's definitely go to there and check it out. Let's see how far away that is. The system will navigate the route for you as soon as you do that, and there it is. And you just basically select go and you're on your road. And this is the part that gets really cool with the navigation and the integration of sort of the responsiveness of this display. So as you can see, it defaults to basically a navigation screen about, almost 2/3 of the screen. But if you wanted to have more real estate dedicated on this screen to your navigation, you basically just touch it, drag it up. You can get just about 90% of the screen navigation. which makes it really easy for you to zoom out, see the big picture. But if you're just cruising down a highway and you know where you're going and you'd rather look at your other data, you can just simply slide it down and you can have just a tiny little navigation window just for the very important cues that are coming up. All right, so we're all set for a trip to Joshua Tree, but we're thinking maybe we want to extend our trip, do a little side project up to Big Bear, get some more pine tree mountains. So if you want to add an extra waypoint along the route, you just go into the navigation system, same as you would normally. Your route will be preloaded and you simply just add a waypoint. You select the Add a Waypoint button. You can search Big Bear. You want to go to Big Bear Lake along the way. Yep, I just want to go down there. I got a good sandwich spot I want to go to. It's going to calculate a new waypoint along the way. And there it is. That's going to give us our big overview of everything. That's kind of how we're going to be driving around. We're going to stop up here, get a sandwich, go down the desert, hit that Jeep trail. All right, the second way you can add destinations to the navigation system is by simply just picking a point on the map. And the maps in this system are really good. They have a lot of details. So again, you go into map navigation, you just hit the map. It says pick on map, you touch it, it's gonna know where you are, and you can zoom out. If you're in an unfamiliar area and you're just looking for twisty roads, you can just zoom around until you find some wiggly roads. And that's kind of a great way to ride sometimes. Say I'm just interested in scoping out this area. I want to find, oh, look at that. That's a road that I'm going to want to go ride. Look at that thing. Say, I'm going to get to the top of this and have a good day. You basically just touch anywhere on the screen that you want to navigate to, push the navigate button, and it's going to calculate the route just like you typed in an address. Again, you can touch the map, get your big overview of your route. You're like, sweet, it's only 58 miles away. I'm just going to jam down here, go up there. I'm going to be at the top of that hill, twisting my way down to Palm Springs. That basically wraps up the functionality and the processes to get into the navigation, pick a destination and follow it. A couple important reminders. Number one, Wi-Fi connectivity is only required if you want to download a new base map. So if you're going to a new region or a new country and you want to download that data, you're going to need a Wi-Fi connection to do that. The other instance where you might want Wi-Fi is if you're commuting using it in an urban environment and you want real-time traffic updates, you'll need to be connected to Wi-Fi while you're riding to get that traffic data into the Mapbox system. Those are the only two times you need to be connected. In fact, all of the systems will work 100% of the time, no matter what country you're in, without any cell network connection or any Wi-Fi connection, including finding your local gas station, closest restaurant, closest place to get a hotel, anything like that you can do through the search function of searching a destination by just keywords, and it's going to pull up the closest things to you all the time. All right, next up in setting the bike up for maximum communication functionality, we're going to connect our phone Bluetooth to our headset on our helmet and connect all of that to the dashboard system so that all of your entertainment and phone call information is controllable through the dash system and visible. Okay, we're setting up phone to headset, maybe a passenger headset, all into this system so you can control volumes, answering calls, hanging up on calls, and all those sort of things. Again, you're going to go to menu, settings, back into our connectivity screen. This is the hub of all connectivity. You're going to go to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and really most of these steps are just like connecting any other Bluetooth device to any other phone you've had in your life, whether it's a Bluetooth speaker or your car or anything like that. So you go into Bluetooth, you're going to make sure it's activated and turned on. You go to your phone pairing first. You can just search for a phone. We're already connected to ours. Search for your device, connect it, let it go through that process. Once that's connected, you're going to back out and you're going to go to your helmet comm system. There's your rider's helmet system. Again, you will activate the Bluetooth pairing mode on your helmet comms, search for it, select it, make sure it's connected, then you're going to go back to the main screen. The cool thing about all of this is all of your interactions with your mobile device are now going to be visible on this screen and controllable either through the touch screen or the button control module on the side. So say you wanted to go back to your home screen, check out your navigation window, you're now going to have an audio window there showing whatever audio is playing on your phone system. Same thing if you get a phone call come in, it's going to pop up on here. The phone number or caller ID will show you what is on here. You're going to be able to answer it or hang up on this screen as well. All right, the next step is to access your phone functionality while you're riding. You might have made a call or had a call come in, but if you want to initiate anything on your phone while you're riding, you need to go into the apps menu. So you hit menu button, you go into your apps. Say you want to go into your music player app, it's going to initialize it and sync with your phone. Here you can see previous track, next track, what's playing now, your volume level. You can show it in split screen on. You can make changes to where you want it to display on your dashboard. And same with the phone settings. You can go in here, initialize it up. You can have your favorites selected. You can search your contacts. You can just dial a number. You can set a do not disturb setting on so you just don't receive calls while you're riding. And that's all the settings that will connect to your phone. All right, now we're gonna get into ride modes, the bread and butter of all the goodness that's going on these motorcycles, all the systems, controls, power manipulation, and all of that. So you're gonna wanna go into the ride modes so you can kind of get an overview of the depth of everything in here. Just for your information, if you get a 1390, you're gonna get 5 ride modes standard, including street, sport, rain, off-road, and 1 custom. If you get the tech pack with all the bells and whistles, you're going to get the rally mode and 2 additional custom ride modes. It's important to go through all the ride modes, view the parameters of all the systems on the bike so you kind of have an understanding of what each mode is going to do for your riding experience. For instance, if you get to this screen, which is pretty simple, I'll go all the way back out. You go to the menu, you hit ride, you go to ride mode settings. It's going to give you the overview of all the ride modes, very easy to see, something you should do in your garage before you go for your first ride. In the street mode, it's going to show you the ABS mode, the motorcycle traction control, engine braking, hill hold settings, quick shifter settings, and a reset button. The reset button's there because each one of the ride modes is customizable to you and your preferences inside street. For instance, say you're in a street mode and you know from your experience you like a more aggressive engine braking platform when you're riding on the street. You can set that every time after this moment, this street mode setting will have your setting in it. But if you get in here and you get kind of lost messing around with stuff, you can always go back down, reset the ride mode to factory standard, and it'll drop those parameters back to the standard. That holds true for all the other ride modes. Rally is the most impressive for the amount of options that are available on there because it has the most unlocked potential to adjust things. I mean, it has dynamic slip adjust, it has the slip adjuster, it has engine braking, but it also has like the throttle response that is very impactful on how the bike performs. Like these are unlocking the true, potential of this bike's performance. So utilizing these to find a setting that's right for you is very, very advised. And it all works the same as the other ride modes. Rally just has all of the components available to adjust. And that's really where the custom ride modes come in handy, because if you want to experiment with different throttle responses or different engine brakings, you can set up each of these ride modes to mirror the same system, but with one of those variables, and you can adjust them on the fly. You don't have to wait for a throttle to be closed or to wait to be stopped to change your ABS. If you just set them up in these modes, you can just adjust them on the fly. All right, now we're gonna show you the different ways you can select your ride modes, because if you're riding, you wanna change it, you're gonna need to do that. The first one is just the ride mode button on the right throttle side. You just hit it, it'll start cycling through the ride modes until you see the one you like, and then you have to select it to turn the bike into that ride mode. It won't just automatically do it if you leave it on there. You either have to hit the check mark with your finger on the dash, or you can hit the center of the joystick button on the left, and that'll select it as well. And then it'll give you a warning if like the traction control or the ABS is disabled in that mode, but then you're good to go. There's a third way you can select your ride modes, and that's by hitting the menu button. You tap the menu button, you tap ride, and then you can scroll next to it on here. Or again, anything I'm doing with my finger on the dashboard, you can use the joystick on the left side to scroll through and select as you want to. Okay, the third way you can adjust ride modes on the fly in a very convenient way. If you don't want to touch the screen, you want to keep your hands on the bars, a very fast way to do it is just with the ride mode button on your right thumb. You can select which ride mode you want to switch to, and you simply just hold it down for 3 seconds. You'll see the check mark illuminate, turn green, and then you'll see that you're in ride mode that you changed. Up next, we're going to navigate to the basic bike info. We're talking things like trip meters. Pretty easy to find. You have at least 2. You can add another trip meter if you want more segmentation there. You've got your tire pressure monitoring system, and then basic bike diagnostics like coolant temp, oil temp, your fuel range, battery voltage, odometer, and any other warnings or any other notifications that are going to come up, including your next service intervals. When your dealer does service, these are the things they're going to access to reset for your next service interval and dates. And that's the info screen. It's, again, easy to navigate to via the touch screen, or you can do everything with the trigger on the left side, the joystick button, just by navigating and pushing. All right, we touched on the settings really quick when we were doing our connectivity, but there's a lot more stuff in there that you should be aware of. So once again, we're gonna go into menu. Again, you can do this with the touch screen or the joystick on the left. Favorites is really cool. I'll show you where favorites is in a minute. This is where you're gonna adjust which data or information is in these 8 blocks of information on the home screen that you're gonna be able to see. And you can change these things into like you want the trip displayed, you want an odometer displayed, you want your date, whatever your speed, your fuel consumption, date and time, that kind of stuff. You can put in that screen for quick access data. The paddle button customization is really cool. The paddle buttons are located on the clutch side of the bike, and there's an up and down like thumb and index finger paddle functionality. You can set those to change on the fly some systems. In this case, it's set to engine brake, but if you wanted to change that to not have any function or be the slip adjuster, for example, in rally mode, you can take that. Or if you want it to be your cruise control up and down, it's in a very comfortable place and a very quick access. So you can actually customize what those 2 buttons do. And that's where you do that. Connectivity, we've been in there. That's where we connected our phone and everything. If you have any TPMS warnings, you can set if you want there to be a warning on your dash and how you want that to display. Power parts from KTM, they sell auto locking cases that will lock with the bike key, and that's where you would set those things up. You can customize your shift lights in different modes to different RPMs in case you want to be warned when you should shift at different times. Your coming home light, that's a setting that'll leave the headlight on after you turn off the bike and walk away from it for a longer amount of time to show you to your door basically, or to keep it just lit up longer. Daytime running light settings here, your button illumination for your left-hand control pod. You can increase or decrease the brightness of that. There's a cornering light test that you can run through. You can set your clock and date. You can set your units from kilometers to mile, for example. You can set your language preference, which is really cool because they changed the bike color depending on your language, which I think is super cool. Heating, if you have aftermarket or KTM Power Parts heated grips and heated seats, this is where you would go in and set those up and turn them on. Case setup, again, we talked about that a little bit. There's an anti-relay attack system for the key fob, so nobody steals the key fob or downloads its data and uses it to start your bike for you. And you can actually enable or disable the touchscreen, which I would never do because the touchscreen's awesome, but you have that functionality. And again, if you go in here or your kid starts pushing all these and messing them all up, you can just reset everything to factory settings. All right, once again, this new system is available on KTM 1390 Adventure R, 1390 Adventure S Evo, 990 Duke R, and 990 RCR systems. You'll see in a little bit when we do another video on the 990 series bikes that the dashboard is a different format. It's more of a horizontal landscapey format. But the big point here is that everything's included. You don't need another system to do everything that you want to do on your ride. You don't need a navigation system, you don't need a communication system, you don't need aftermarket motorcycle manipulation systems. Everything's built in, and it's built in wonderfully with the new navigation dashboard screens from KTM. KTM, always on the leading edge of making new stuff, and man, this is something that we're really excited about.